Discovery of the dormant fleet. Commander Sarah Chen stood at the helm of the Starseeker*, watching the holographic display with growing frustration. Another dead end. After 6 months of searching the outer rim for valuable salvage, her crew was getting restless. The Galactic Archaeological Society paid well for significant finds, but competition from other salvage teams meant the easy discoveries were long gone. "Commander, we're picking up some unusual readings from the Epsilon sector," Lieutenant Zhang reported, his scaled fingers dancing across the sensor controls. Like many of the crew, he was emerged, someone who had chosen to enhance their body with engineered traits from other species. His iridescent scales helped regulate his body temperature in the ship's varying environments. Sarah leaned forward, studying the new data. Define unusual. Mass readings consistent with artificial structures, but Zhang frowned, his scales shifting to a puzzled blue. The energy signature doesn't match anything in our database. It's incredibly faint, like an echo. "Plot a course," Sarah ordered. In this business, unique meant valuable. The Starseeker* altered its trajectory, its quantum drive humming as it carved a path through space-time. They emerged from quantum space 12 hours later. Sarah's breath caught in her throat. Floating before them was a graveyard of titans, massive ships stretched as far as their sensors could detect, their dark hulls absorbing the distant starlight like ancient monoliths. "By the first ones," whispered Dr. Kira Patel, the xenoarchaeologist. "Those ships, they're huge. The smallest one must be at least 3 kilometers long." Sarah had seen her share of derelict vessels, but nothing like this. These ships weren't built with the flowing, organic aesthetics favored by modern civilizations. They were angular, brutalist creations of metal and ceramics, bristling with what could only be weapon emplacements. Getting preliminary dating results, Kira announced, her augmented eyes glowing as they processed the data. "This can't be right. The quantum decay patterns suggest these ships are over 50,000 years old." "Impossible," Zhang said. "The oldest known spacefaring civilization is the Skoreth, and they achieved spaceflight only 30,000 years ago." Sarah ignored the discussion, focusing instead on the closest vessel. Something about its design tugged at her memory, like a half-forgotten dream. "Take us closer to the lead ship. Full passive scans only. We don't know if any defense systems are still active." As they approached, more details became clear. The hull was scarred but intact, speaking to incredible engineering. Modern ships would have crumbled to dust after a fraction of this time. "I'm detecting atmospheric containment," John reported incredulously. "These ships still have functioning life support after 50 millennia. "Look at these markings," Kira said, zooming in on a section of the hull. "They're not like any ancient script I've studied, but there's something familiar about them." Sarah felt it too. The symbols stirred something deep in her genetic memory, a legacy of the genetic engineering that had created modern humans. Prepare a boarding team, full containment protocols. The docking procedure was surprisingly simple, almost as if the ship had been designed to accommodate vessels of varying types. Sarah led the team personally, stepping through the airlock into history. The interior was dark but structurally sound. Their lights revealed corridors built to last eternity, with redundant systems visible behind nearly indestructible transparent panels. Everything was labeled with those haunting, familiar symbols. "The engineering principles here are fascinating," Kira said, scanning everything. "It's simultaneously primitive and incredibly advanced. Look at these manual controls. No neural interfaces or AI integration, but the materials science is beyond anything we have today." They found their way to what appeared to be a bridge. Unlike modern command centers, this one was clearly designed for beings who stood upright and had 2 arms. The central chair caught Sarah's attention. It was perfectly sized for a human body. "Commander," Zhang called out, his voice tight with excitement. "I'm detecting power signatures. Minimal, but present. This ship isn't dead, it's dormant." Sarah approached the central chair, drawn by an instinct she couldn't explain. As she got closer, lines of soft blue light began to pulse through the floor, spreading outward in geometric patterns. A deep hum resonated through the chamber as ancient systems stirred to life. A hologram flickered into existence, crude by modern standards but still functional after 50,000 years. A figure appeared, wearing what looked like a military uniform. When it spoke, Sarah's universal translator remained silent. It didn't need to translate. She understood every word. Human genetic profile detected. Welcome, descendant. I am the Advanced Defense Intelligence of the Earth Fleet Vessel Asterisk, Humanity's Shield Asterisk. For 50,000 years we have waited for our children to return to the stars. Sarah felt the deck sway beneath her feet as the implications hit her. This wasn't just another alien relic. This was humanity's forgotten legacy, and its resurrection would shake the galaxy to its foundations. In the silence that followed, warning klaxons began to blare. The ship's air spoke again, its tone urgent, warning. Multiple quantum space ruptures detected, unknown vessels emerging, defense protocols initiating. The ancient fleet was awakening, and the galaxy was about to discover why humanity's ancestors had built it in the first place. Legacy of steel and stars. The ancient ship's corridors blazed with awakening power, emergency lighting casting everything in a deep blue glow. Sarah gripped the command chair as the A's warnings continued. 15 vessels emerging from quantum space. Configuration matches hegemony warships. They are charging weapons. The hegemony, self-proclaimed peacekeepers of the galaxy. Sarah had dealt with them before. They tended to shoot first when it came to potential threats to their authority. Can this ship still fight? Sarah asked, her heart pounding. The vessel might be incredible, but it was 50,000 years old. This vessel was designed to engage enemies for centuries without maintenance, the A responded. All combat systems are operational. However, protocol requires authorized command personnel for weapons activation. Kira's augmented eyes flashed as she processed data from her scanners. Commander, the hegemony ships are broadcasting. They're ordering us to power down and prepare for boarding. Sarah stood straighter, feeling the weight of history on her shoulders. I am Commander Sarah Chen of the salvage vessel Star Seeker. I need options. The hologram flickered, and suddenly the bridge was filled with tactical displays. Primitive by modern standards but incredibly detailed. Commander Chen, genetic profile confirms ancestral lineage. Emergency command protocols activated. You have full tactical control. Multiple targeting locks detected. Zhang reported from his position near the entrance. They're not going to wait for our response. Sarah studied the tactical displays. The hegemony ships were arranged in a standard containment pattern, but they'd left a gap in their formation, probably assuming this ancient vessel was too primitive to exploit it. What's our weapon complement? Primary armament consists of kinetic driver arrays, fusion catalyzed plasma projectors, and temporal disruption fields. This vessel also carries a complement of autonomous defense drones. Sarah's eyes widened. Temporal disruption fields were thought to be theoretical. Show me the drone controls. A new hologram appeared, displaying what looked like thousands of small, sleek craft nestled in launch bays throughout the massive ship. Their design was elegant in its simplicity. No quantum drives or complex AI, just pure speed and purpose. Hegemony vessels powering main guns, Zhang warned. Launch drones, defensive pattern, Sarah ordered, and power up the temporal disruption field. The ship rumbled as launch bays opened along its length. Swarms of drones emerged, their formation perfect despite millennia of dormancy. On the tactical display, Sarah watched as the hegemony ships adjusted their targeting, suddenly unsure of what they were facing. Your species faced extinction once before, the AA said as the drones moved into position. These ships were built to ensure it would never happen again. The hegemony's weapons cannot penetrate our temporal field. Their energy beams will be redirected through microsecond time shifts. As if on cue, the leading hegemony ship fired. A lance of coherent plasma streaked toward them, only to vanish meters from the hull, reappearing behind their vessel as harmless, scattered energy. By the first ones, Kira breathed. The field isn't blocking their attacks, it's moving them through time. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. AI, open a channel to the hegemony fleet. The hologram shifted, showing the stern face of a hegemony commander, a tall, crystalline being whose form sparkled with neural energy. Unknown vessel, power down immediately or be destroyed. This sector is under hegemony protection. This is Commander Chen, Sarah responded, her voice steady. I suggest you check your sensors more carefully. Your weapons cannot harm us, but I suspect you've noticed our drones are now inside your formation's defensive envelope. The crystalline being's face flickered, the equivalent of a frown. Impossible. No primitive vessel could. These ships aren't primitive, Sarah interrupted. They're humanity's legacy, built by our ancestors before the fall. The real question is, why did they build such a massive fleet? What were they preparing for? The hegemony commander's expression shifted to one of genuine concern. Humanity. These vessels predate your civilization by tens of thousands of years. Your species barely achieved spaceflight a century ago. That's what we were meant to believe, Kira said, stepping forward. But these ships tell a different story. We weren't emerging into space, we were returning to it. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the ship. The A's voice took on an urgent tone. Multiple quantum space ruptures detected. Scale exceeds all previous readings. Something massive is emerging. The tactical display shifted, showing a tear in space-time that dwarfed anything Sarah had ever seen. The hegemony ship scattered as something began to emerge, a structure so vast it defied comprehension. Mother of Earth, Jung whispered. It was a station, if something so massive could be called that. Like the ships, it bore the angular, practical designs of humanity's ancestors. But where the ships were built for war, this was built for survival. Archive Station Alpha detected, the AI announced. Beginning synchronization. Commander Chen, the archive contains the true history of humanity. Would you like to know why your ancestors sacrificed their civilization to protect the future? The hegemony ships hung motionless in space as the station fully emerged, its size making even their massive fleet look insignificant. Sarah felt the weight of destiny settling onto her shoulders as she looked at the tactical display, where more ruptures were appearing. The rest of the fleet was awakening. Show me, Sarah said quietly. Show me everything. The hologram shifted, and the story of humanity's first rise and deliberate fall began to unfold. The galaxy was about to change forever, and Sarah Chen would be the one to guide humanity back to its birthright among the stars. The price of memory. The archive's holographic display filled the bridge with images of Earth, not the cradle of rebuilt civilization Sarah knew, but Earth as it had been 50,000 years ago. A world of gleaming cities and impossible achievements, humanity at its height. Your ancestors faced a choice, the AI began, its voice resonating with carefully preserved memory. Sacrifice everything they had built, or watch the galaxy burn. The images shifted, showing massive structures in deep space, devices that dwarfed even the archive station. These were the harvesters. They emerged from the dark space between galaxies every 50,000 years to feed on civilizations that have grown too advanced. Your ancestors detected their approach through quantum fluctuations in space-time. Sarah watched as the simulation showed the harvester's path through previous galaxies, leaving nothing but dead stars and shattered worlds in their wake. Why haven't we found evidence of these civilizations? Because the harvesters are thorough, Kira answered, her augmented eyes rapidly processing the data streams. They don't just destroy civilizations, they erase them from existence. The quantum decay patterns we use for dating, they could be reset. The hegemony commander, still linked through the communication channel, spoke up. This is absurd. Our civilization has existed for 30,000 years. We would have detected these harvesters. No, the AI corrected. You exist because humanity chose to fall. Watch. The hologram showed Earth's military command centers as they reached their desperate decision. They could fight. The fleet Sarah stood in now had been built for that purpose, but the harvesters had never been defeated. Every civilization that tried had been erased so completely that no evidence remained. Your ancestors chose a different path, the AI continued. They studied the harvesters' patterns and realized these beings were drawn to specific signs of technological advancement. Quantum manipulation, faster than light travel, energy production beyond a certain scale. Sarah felt a chill as she began to understand. They deliberately regressed. Yes, but not before implementing the Grand Archive Protocol. This fleet was hidden across multiple dimensional spaces, designed to remain dormant until humanity evolved again. The Archive Station contains everything: our history, our technology, our understanding of the universe. Your ancestors wiped their own memories, destroyed their civilization, and began again from the Stone Age. Zhang's scales had shifted to a deep purple of awe. They chose to forget everything, to protect not just humanity, but all civilizations that would come after. The harvesters passed through this galaxy 49,000 years ago, the AI said. They found nothing advanced enough to draw their attention. Your ancestors' sacrifice saved countless species that would later evolve to reach the stars, including the hegemony. The crystalline commander's face showed complex patterns of light, a sign of deep emotional disturbance. If what you say is true, the harvesters will return soon. Within the next 1,000 years, the AI confirmed. This fleet was designed to awaken in time to prepare. The archive contains defensive technologies that were proven effective against harvester scouts. Your ancestors couldn't save their own civilization, but they could give their descendants the tools to fight back. New alarms suddenly blared across the bridge. Multiple quantum space ruptures detected, the AI announced. Hegemony reinforcements arriving. They are led by a Primarch vessel. Sarah had heard of the Primarchs, the highest authority in the hegemony, beings who had transcended their original crystalline forms to become living quantum computers. They were said to be able to process the sum of galactic knowledge in moments. The new arrivals emerged from quantum space, 50 capital ships surrounding a vessel that seemed to be made of pure light. The communications channel crackled as a new voice spoke, resonating directly in their minds. "I am Primarch Zorn L," the voice said. "We have monitored the energy signatures of this fleet's awakening. The data you have revealed changes everything. The hegemony has detected anomalies at the galaxy's edge, signs we could not interpret until now." The tactical display updated, showing long-range sensor data. At the very edge of the galaxy, something was stirring in the void. "They're early," Sarah whispered, understanding the implications. "Not early," the AI corrected. "Right on schedule. Your ancestors' calculations were perfect, but they couldn't predict how quickly modern civilization would advance. The quantum signatures of hegemony technology are already strong enough to draw attention." Primarch Zorn L's vessel moved closer. Commander Chen, humanity's ancestors, chose to sacrifice everything to protect this galaxy. Now their descendants must choose whether to accept the responsibility they left behind. This fleet and its technology could turn the hegemony into an invincible force. Or, Sarah interrupted, suddenly understanding her role, "we could do what this fleet was actually designed for: unite the galaxy to face the threat together." The Archive Station pulsed with energy, and new holograms appeared. They showed defense plans, weapon schematics, and strategy documents, all designed to be shared and implemented across multiple civilizations. "Your ancestors didn't build this fleet to dominate," the AI said. "They built it to protect, to teach, to unite. The harvesters have never faced a galaxy that stood together." The hegemony's strength, combined with forgotten human technology and the resources of all spacefaring races. "We might have a chance," Primarch Zorn-El finished. Commander Chen, the hegemony has enforced peace through power for 30,000 years. Perhaps it is time for a different approach. Sarah looked at her crew, human, merged, and alien, all working together on this ancient vessel. Then she looked at the tactical display, where more ships of the fleet were awakening, their powerful forms representing not just humanity's past, but the galaxy's future. "Aye," she said, "begin uploading the Archive's defensive technologies to the hegemony vessels. Primarch Zorn-El, I suggest we convene an emergency session of all spacefaring races. We have a lot of work to do, and not much time to do it." As the ancient fleet continued to awaken, Sarah Chen prepared to help humanity take its place among the stars, not as conquerors or victims, but as guardians of a legacy greater than any single species. Rising Storm. 3 months after the fleet's awakening, Sarah stood in the Archive Station's Grand Assembly Hall, watching representatives from 100 species argue about survival. The chamber was a testament to her ancestors' foresight, designed to accommodate beings of all sizes and environmental needs, from the crystalline hegemony to the gaseous cloudin. "The mergence protocol is too risky," declared Ambassador Vex Tith of the Silicon Concordat, their metallic body gleaming under the hall's lights. "Sharing technology across species at this scale could collapse our civilizations before the harvesters even arrive." "We don't have a choice," Sarah countered, projecting the latest sensor data. The massive hologram showed the galaxy's outer rim, where dark shapes were becoming visible against the void. The Archive's predictions were correct. "We have months, not years." Kira stepped forward, her augmented eyes projecting additional data streams. In the months since discovering the fleet, she had immersed herself in the Archive's historical records. The harvesters don't just destroy civilizations. They consume their knowledge, their technology, their very essence. Every race they devoured has made them stronger. Which is precisely why we cannot risk accelerating their arrival with hasty actions. Primarch Zorn-El interjected, their light form pulsing with concern. "The energy signatures from implementing these defensive measures will be visible across the galaxy." Zhang, now serving as humanity's technical liaison, brought up a new display. "They already know we're here. Look at the quantum disturbance patterns. They're not following their usual approach vector. They're responding to existing signatures. The hegemony's quantum network is like a beacon." Silence fell across the chamber as the implications sank in. The harvesters weren't coming on their normal schedule. They were coming now, drawn by the light of civilization. "Show them," Sarah commanded the A. The chamber's displays shifted, revealing a simulation based on recovered data from humanity's first encounter with harvester scouts. The images were horrifying, massive biotechnological entities that consumed everything in their path, breaking down matter and energy to their quantum components. "Your ancestors faced these scouts," the AI narrated. "They developed weapons and defenses that proved effective, but the cost was too high. The main harvester fleet would have arrived before they could implement the solutions across their civilization, so they made a choice." The simulation showed Earth's regression, great cities falling silent, technology being systematically dismantled, knowledge carefully preserved but hidden away, all to create the appearance of a pre-technological world. "They erased themselves," Sarah continued, "but they left us everything we need. The mergence protocol isn't just about sharing technology, it's about combining the strengths of every species in the galaxy. The hegemony's quantum processing, the Silicon Concordat's manufacturing capabilities, the Cloudin's energy manipulation. And humanity's gift for warfare," a new voice added. Admiral Krall of the Hegemony Defense Force stepped into the light. His crystalline form had been modified with components from the ancient fleet, representing the first successful implementation of cross-species technology sharing. "Not warfare," Sarah corrected. "Survival. My ancestors built this fleet not to fight, but to protect. Every weapon system, every defense platform, they're all designed to be operated cooperatively. No single species can unlock their full potential alone." The chamber erupted in discussions again, but this time the tone was different. Fear was giving way to possibility. Suddenly, the station's warning systems activated. Red light flooded the chamber as the A's voice rang out. Multiple quantum ruptures detected at the galaxy's edge. Scale exceeds all historical records. Harvester scout vessels confirmed. Sarah activated the tactical display. Dozens of massive forms were emerging from the void, each one larger than the archive station itself. But something was wrong. They weren't following standard harvester attack patterns. They're not scouting, Kira realized, her augmented eyes wide. This is a full assault force. They know we detected them. They're not trying to be subtle anymore. Admiral Krell's crystalline form pulsed with battle algorithms. How long until they reach populated systems? At their current velocity, 2 weeks, Jung reported. Sarah looked around the chamber, at the faces of beings whose species had evolved while humanity slept. They had all built their civilizations from nothing, reached for the stars, created wonders. And now they had to decide if they would face extinction alone or survival together. 2 weeks, she announced, her voice carrying across the chamber. 2 weeks to implement the Mergence Protocol, to unite our technologies, to prepare our defenses. 2 weeks to do what no civilization has ever done, stand together against the darkness. Primarch Zorn-L's light form expanded, connecting with the station's systems. The hegemony's quantum network is at your disposal, Commander Chen. We will broadcast the protocols to every system under our protection. One by one, the representatives stepped forward, pledging their resources, their knowledge, their trust. The Silicon Concordat's vast automated factories, the Cloudin's energy manipulation expertise, countless others, each bringing unique capabilities to humanity's ancient designs. Sarah turned to the tactical display, watching the Harvester fleet approach. Her ancestors had sacrificed everything to give the galaxy this chance. Now it was time to prove their faith was justified. "Aye," she commanded, "begin full activation sequence for all fleet vessels. Upload combat protocols to all allied systems. Implement Mergence Protocol Alpha." Throughout the galaxy, ancient ships stirred to life. In shipyards and space docks, vessels of all species began receiving upgrades based on humanity's forgotten knowledge. The quantum network pulsed with shared data as civilizations that had evolved separately began working as one. The last great war for the galaxy was about to begin. Children of Earth. The void between stars erupted with quantum fire as the first wave of Harvester scouts encountered humanity's ancient fleet. Sarah watched from the command center of the Archive Station as vessels built by a dozen different species moved in perfect coordination, implementing battle plans 50,000 years in the making. Temporal disruption fields holding, Jung reported, his scaled skin shimmering with neural connections to the fleet's targeting systems. Harvester energy weapons are being redirected through microsecond time shifts. But the Harvesters were adapting. Their massive biomechanical forms shifted and changed, trying to find weaknesses in defenses that had never before failed them. Each scout was the size of a small moon, their surfaces writhing with tentacles of dark energy that reached out to consume anything they touched. Multiple quantum signatures detected, the AI announced. The main Harvester fleet is beginning its emergence. The tactical display showed the truth they'd all feared. The scouts were just the beginning. Behind them, space itself was tearing open as the main fleet arrived. Not dozens of vessels, but thousands, each one large enough to swallow worlds whole. All civilizations, implement Protocol Omega. Sarah broadcast across the quantum network. Throughout the galaxy, the combined forces they'd assembled in 2 desperate weeks of preparation began their response. Hegemony quantum processors merged with human temporal technology, creating prediction matrices that showed where the Harvesters would strike. Silicon Concordat manufacturing hubs spun up ancient weapon designs at impossible speeds. Cloudin energy manipulators powered defensive grids that spanned entire sectors. "We've lost contact with the Outer Rim defense line," Kira reported, her augmented eyes streaming data. "The harvesters, they're not just destroying our ships, they're unmaking them, breaking them down to their quantum components and absorbing the energy." As they have done for millions of years, Primarch Zorn-L's voice echoed through the command center. "But they have never encountered unified resistance before. Show them why your ancestors chose to preserve this knowledge, Commander Chen." Sarah nodded grimly. "Activate the Nexus Protocol." Throughout the fleet, ships of all species began to move in new patterns. The Arcos AI had spent 50,000 years perfecting these maneuvers, ways to combine the unique abilities of each civilization into something greater than the sum of its parts. Hegemony vessels projected quantum fields that the ancient human ships transformed into weapons. Cloudin energy manipulators amplified the temporal disruption effects. Silicon Concordat drones swarmed through the gaps, their perfect coordination guided by algorithms written before their species existed. But it wasn't enough. The harvesters pressed forward, their numbers seemingly endless. For every scout they destroyed, 2 more took its place. The main fleet was still emerging, each vessel larger and more terrible than the last. "They're adapting too quickly," Admiral Crow reported, his crystalline form pulsing with tactical data. "Our advantage is the combination of technologies they've never encountered before, but they're learning, evolving. Within hours, they'll have countermeasures for everything we throw at them." Sarah studied the tactical display, watching as the battle unfolded across hundreds of light years. The harvesters were following their usual pattern, spreading out to consume everything in their path. But something about their formation nagged at her. They're not just adapting, she realized. They're forming something. AI, analyze their fleet movements over the last 6 hours. Show me the pattern. The display shifted, tracking the seemingly random movements of thousands of harvester vessels. But when viewed as a whole, a shape emerged. They were creating a massive quantum array, preparing to channel energy on a scale that would destroy everything in its path. "This is how they've won before," Kira whispered. "They don't just defeat civilizations, they erase them completely. No evidence, no ruins, nothing left to learn from." Sarah felt a chill as she understood what her ancestors had discovered. The harvesters weren't just predators, they were gardeners, pruning the galaxy of civilizations that grew too advanced, ensuring nothing could ever threaten their dominion. But her ancestors had left them one last gift. One final protocol, hidden so deep in the archive that even the AI hadn't revealed it until now. "All ships, fall back to quantum coordinate 0, Sarah ordered. "Implement final protocol." Warning signals flashed across every display. The AI's voice took on a tone of reverence. "Warning. Genesis protocol activated. All civilizations acknowledge. This action cannot be undone." Throughout the fleet, ancient systems began to power up. The Arca station itself transformed, its massive form reconfiguring into something that hadn't existed since humanity's first civilization fell. "What is this?" Primarch Zorn-L demanded, their light form fluctuating with concern. "Your ancestors didn't just build weapons," the AI explained. "They built a key. The harvesters aren't natural. They were created, Indigo, by a civilization that feared what the galaxy might become. Your ancestors discovered their true nature, and with it, the means to end their cycle forever." The Arca station's transformation completed, revealing its true form, not a repository of knowledge, but a quantum key designed to unlock the very foundations of space-time. As the harvesters completed their array, preparing to unleash destruction on an unimaginable scale, Sarah Chen prepared to use humanity's final gift to the galaxy. The question was, would the price of victory be too high to bear? Echoes of tomorrow. The transformed Archive station pulsed with power that defied comprehension. What had appeared to be a library of humanity's knowledge was revealed as something far more profound, a key forged by ancient humans to reshape reality itself. Genesis protocol parameters aligned, the AI announced. "Warning. Activation will permanently alter quantum substrate of local space-time. The galaxy as we know it will be fundamentally changed. Saro watched as the harvester fleet completed its array formation. Their combined mass created a perfect geometric pattern spanning thousands of light years, a machine designed to erase civilizations from existence itself. "They're preparing to fire," Zhang reported, his scales now glowing with integrated quantum energy. "Energy readings are beyond anything we can measure." Commander Chen, Primarch Zorn-L's voice, resonated through the command center. The hegemony's predictive matrices show that even with the Genesis protocol, survival probability is less than 30%. We need to understand what we're about to attempt. Sarah nodded, turning to the AI. "Show them what our ancestors discovered. Show them the truth about the harvesters." The command center filled with images that defied understanding, mathematical proofs and quantum equations described the fundamental nature of their enemy. The harvesters weren't just ancient, they were woven into the fabric of space-time itself. The civilization that created them had a singular fear, the AI explained. That conscious life would eventually evolve to threaten the very structure of the universe. The harvesters were designed as a failsafe to prevent any species from reaching that level of advancement. But humanity found a way to fight them, Kira said, her augmented eyes processing the ancient data. "That's what this station really is, not just a weapon, but a key to rewrite the rules they built into reality." Admiral Krell's crystalline form pulsed with comprehension. The Mergence Protocol wasn't just about sharing technology, it was preparation for this moment, proving that different species could work together without destroying each other. "Yes," Sarah confirmed, "the Harvester's creators feared what advanced civilizations would become. Our ancestors discovered that the only way to prove them wrong was to unite the galaxy in defense of all life." The tactical display flashed red. The Harvester array was reaching critical power levels. In moments, they would fire a quantum pulse that would unwrite history itself. "All Allied ships, take formation around the Archive Station," Sarah ordered. "Everything we've built together comes down to this moment." Throughout space, vessels of every species moved into precise positions. Hegemony quantum processors linked with human temporal fields, Silicon Concordat drones created perfect geometric patterns, and clued-in energy manipulators prepared to channel power beyond imagination. "Genesis protocol at full capacity," the AI announced. "Commander Chen, you must understand. Activating this will change everything. The fundamental constants that make our civilization possible will be rewritten. Nothing will be the same." Sarah looked at her crew, human, merged, alien, all working together in the face of extinction. "Our ancestors didn't build this fleet to preserve the past," she said. "They built it to create a future worth fighting for. Activate Genesis Protocol." The Arco Station's transformation completed, revealing its true form, a quantum key that bridged the gap between what was and what could be. Energy coursed through the Allied fleet as every ship, every being, became part of something greater. The harvesters fired. A wave of unreality swept toward them, powerful enough to erase civilizations from existence. But this time, something was different. This time, the galaxy stood together. The Genesis Protocol activated. Reality shuddered as two forces beyond comprehension met. The harvester's power sought to unmake, to erase, to prevent. The combined might of the galaxy's civilizations, channeled through humanity's final gift, sought to create, to unite, to transcend. Space itself seemed to hold its breath. Then everything changed. The harvester array collapsed as new laws of physics asserted themselves, laws written not by fear of advancement, but by hope for cooperation. Their massive forms, designed to enforce stagnation, found themselves unable to exist in a universe that now celebrated growth. "Energy readings are," Zhang paused, staring at his displays in wonder. "They're transforming. The harvesters aren't being destroyed, they're being rewritten, becoming something new." Throughout the galaxy, the changes spread. The quantum key didn't just defeat the harvesters, it rewrote the fundamental rules their creators had built into reality. The barriers that had kept civilizations from reaching their true potential began to fade. "We're detecting quantum signature changes across all space," Kira reported, her augmented eyes wide with wonder. "The universe itself is evolving." Sarah watched as a massive harvester fleet transformed, their dark forms becoming something entirely new, not destroyers of civilizations, but bridges between them. The fears of their ancient creators were finally proven wrong. "Your ancestors understood something fundamental," Primate Zorn-El said, their light form pulsing with new energy. "The greatest threat to existence wasn't advancement, it was isolation. They built all of this not to fight, but to unite." Throughout the galaxy, civilizations watched in awe as reality reshaped itself. The Arco Station, its purpose finally fulfilled, began to decompress its vast stores of knowledge, not just humanity's history, but a blueprint for a future where all species could reach their full potential together. "Signal from the transformed harvester vessels," Jung reported. They're asking to help. Their new purpose is to unite rather than divide." Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of humanity's greatest legacy, watching as the galaxy entered a new era. Her ancestors had sacrificed everything not just to save humanity, but to give all life a chance to become something greater. "Begin transmission of archived data to all civilizations," she ordered. "It's time for everyone to understand their place in the story. We're not just survivors anymore. We're builders of what comes next." As the last echoes of the old universe faded, a new dawn broke across the galaxy. Humanity had returned to the stars not as conquerors or victims, but as architects of a future where the light of civilization would never again face extinction. The age of isolation was over. The age of unity had begun.